Hey beauties, morning to you. So, when I had done when I was doing my master's, I did an interesting study, and I had to go and refresh my memory on it in terms of the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain. You sometimes may hear people say that men tend to use the left side, which is the logical side, and the right side is the more creative side, the intuitive side that women tend to use. And there's no really, I was looking at some recent information, and it says there's really no truth to one human being using more than the other, or or it is more geared towards men using the left side versus women geared to using the right side, because we have many sides to ourselves. Because if you look at it, you have men who are very creative, very intuitive. It says the music, the artistic side, that is the right side of the brain, and you have many men who are like that. And the logical side, the side that speaks well, that is, I guess, coherent and in terms of their language and the way how they are organized, you have many women who are like that. So there is no real truth to, I suppose, that women tend to use more right versus left. And there's a myth behind that women are more emotional. If that is the case, then men are not human beings, because we're all built with emotions. Remember, there is a soul within us. When you look at the three composites of the soul, what does it comprise? The mind, the will, and the emotions. That is those are the driving force into who you are and the things that you do on a day-to-day basis. So it therefore would mean that the male one, is no longer a human being if they're not driven by their emotions as well. It's just that women tend to probably get into a more frenzy and be very dramatic because of how we are fashioned. We are female, so God must put a very feminine way of us behaving and operating, while they put a more masculine way of the men operating and behaving in a general sense. So we have to be careful when we run with this myth that women are more emotional. Then what are you? That means you're not a human being. Then as a man, you have no soul, because your soul comprises the mind, the will, and the emotions. And the reason why I'm bringing up that, in the book of Matthew 6, Matthew chapter 6, verses 1 to about 4 or thereabout, when it says, do not let the logical side, the left side, know what the creative side is doing. Don't let your left hand, and I'm just using that, know what your right hand. So don't let the logical, the seemingly organized way know what the right, the creative, the intuitive, the musical side know what you have done for others. Because I tell you this, you have been paid in full if you do that. If you go out and you show everybody logically, you say, no man, I need to make them know that I am this and I'm that, and I gave this one this amount of money, or did this for this individual. You have been paid in full. So God no longer needs to reward you. It's just like when the Bible says, vengeance is mine, I will repay. If you take vengeance in your hand and you take it over from God, you say, God, I don't need your help. I say, okay, I don't need to do anything to that individual, because you have already repaid. And how he would have repaid? Oh my gosh, not even your mind can conceive and comprehend how he would have repaid, be it good or bad. So that is why it says, leave it to me. Me are the boss. Me are the original gold teeth, front teeth, done gargan in here. So wait. So left side, although it is logical and it feels good, it feels right to go and tell this one and that one that I've done this. No, hold your peace. Use intuition, use the right side, tap into the right side and say, no, let me hold my peace. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to allow God to show, what it is that I've done. And whatever I've done it with humility, sincerity, and because I want to. I give. When it says those who give sparingly will reap sparingly, people feel it's just only in a stingy sense. But stingy is not only indicative of the amount or the number, depending if it's something that is quantifiable, if you can count it. If it's countable, if you can count it, you say number. If you can't, you say amount. Good. Stingy means that your heart is not for it. You give it with a lean heart. The Bible says God may grant you his permissive will, but with a leanness of heart, because that's not his perfect will. So you get it, but you're not going to be totally happy with it. It's the same when it says give sparingly. So it's not just you being stingy, it's just that you really never want to give. So God bless. So God going to multiply on that stinginess and that unwillingness. When you give bountifully, it means that you wanted to give. There was mercy in you. There was compassion in you. There was grace in you, and you wanted to give. So you gave in a magnolious way, in a grandiose way, in a humongous way, in a tremendous way, in a resplendent way. So don't let the logic know what the intuition is going to do. Or don't let the logic, let the intuition say, no, hold your peace. So don't let the right hand know what the left hand is doing. So whatever you're doing for people, hush, hush. God must reward you. He says he prefers heaven and earth to pass away than to let his word go void. I trust him, I believe him, I know that his word is true. It may not happen today, it may not happen tomorrow, but it must happen the next day. It must. I'm not asking, I'm telling you. That is the God I serve. So logic, organized, language, the one who is good that way, that just seems put together. Hold your peace. Don't tell anybody all the things that you're doing for others. If you're kind, don't worry. God will definitely emit it to the world that you are a kind human being, that you're compassionate, that you're giving. He will let you know. You don't need to worry about the how. I know sometimes that's how the brain is. It wants to know, I wonder how I'm going to do it, Because we're not God. We can't remember his ways and his thoughts are not ours. We're only going to think to our capacity. Our capacity is to a human level. No matter how bright you are, even if your IQ is 300 and your EQ is 200 and odd, it can't go above what God says it must go to. So you can't get into the how that way. Our minds are not that way. We can only probably have a little idea, but we don't know how. So left side, hold your peace. Left part of the brain, hold your peace. Hold your peace. Don't tell the right one. So logic, no bother tell intuition. Hold it. Show the separation. Don't worry, God will know how to bridge the gap between the logic and the intuition, between the language and the creative, between the organized and the music oriented, or the, what you would call it, the intuitive, the discerning. And again, it's not a male or female thing. I know it may seem that male display that more. Maybe some may think it's, men use more of the left side while women use more of the right side. And yes, two of us are emotional beings. It's how we display our emotions, all right? Because if you don't have emotions, you don't have a soul. You're an empty shell. So both gender, both sexes, if you want to call it that way, they are emotional. It is mythical to say that we're not. To say that men are not, women are emotional and men are not. We have to be careful of what we run with. Go and do your research. Go and do your studies. All right, my beauties, but listen to me. Whatever you do, hold it. Be confidential with it. Nobody tell everybody. You don't have to worry. Say, boy, I got to imagine me. No, don't worry, boy. In due time, he's going to reward you. When he rewards you, you're going to say yes. You just hold it. You just remain humble. Easy, like Sunday morning. Some of these, wealthy people that you see around, and people say, they're mean and stingy. Oh, really? We'll know if they're mean and stingy. God will reward them. He will let us know, and we'll say, oh, I don't think so then, Because look at what is happening. And we're not talking about the things that the devil does for them. Because some of the things that you see people acquired is not via God. Some of the promotion that people get is not God promote them. Some of the things that people, and we know that there is spiritual wickedness in high places. Remember that the devil has his kingdom in the atmosphere. He's like the CEO of the world systems. So he can grant certain things too. Remember, he didn't lose his power. It became corrupt. He never lost it. He didn't lose his wisdom. It became corrupt. He didn't lose his knowledge. It became corrupt. Whatever little understanding God would have fashioned him with, or when I say fashion, created him with, he didn't lose it. It only became corrupt. He became the father of lies and deceit. Didn't lose it. So he can do certain little things. Yes, human beings have given him that legal right. Once you delve into his kingdom via sin, yeah, man, you're giving him all right to do and wreak whatever havoc he wants to wreak, unless God says you can go to this point, but not to that point. Just as how we did with Job. Although in Job's case, it was not Satan who initiated the attack, so to speak. It was God who said, have you seen my servant Job? Because he knew what the devil would have said. And Satan didn't come to him with that. God, the first question he asked him is, what are you doing? He said, we just about to and fro. And then God said, have you seen my servant Job? God knew what he's doing, Like in Jamaica, they said, boy, God have a little generalship thing up his sleeve. But it's a good generalship because he wanted to take him higher. Just like you go primary school, then after that you go secondary, then after that you go tertiary. It's the same in the spiritual world. Primary, then secondary, then tertiary. So hold your peace. Hold your peace, left side. Guys, follow me on TikTok, subscribe to my YouTube channel, share this message.